Hey there, it's Kalyn with a Paper Smooches card tutorial. Today I'm going to be using the Roses die set, the Retro Arrow die, and the Sassy Script stamp set. And I'm going to be using that Retro Arrow die, which is one of the Paper Smooches coverlet dies, and I'm going to be making a mask out of that. So it's big enough to cover an entire card front. So I'm taking just a piece of plain white cardstock that's a little bit bigger than the die, and I die cut that and then just removing all the little bits and pieces that get punched out when you die cut it. So now I'm going to take that piece of cardstock and that's going to serve as the mask on my card. So I'm going to be taking some mist and misting it over top of that mask. So I'm using this Heidi Swap mist and it's in a blush color. Just shaking it up to make sure it's nice and ready for spritzing, and then I'm going to hold down that die cut that's serving it as my mask and I'm going to just mist over top of it. And you could probably tape this down using some washi tape, but I just decided to kind of press down where I was spraying and then just move my hand along the die as I continued to spray. And it worked out pretty well. And this is the result after you're done misting. I think it turned out really well. It's not perfect, but misting is never really a perfect science. So I think it looks kind of nice and artsy, and I just really like that as a subtle background. So it's definitely a great way to use your dies as something other than just a die. You can use it with mist, you can ink over top of it. The possibilities are pretty endless. So now I'm taking some patterned paper from the Mint Julep collection from Basic Gray, and these are just some scrap pieces that I had left over, but I thought that the color scheme of this collection would go really nicely with the blush colored mist that I used. So I die cut the roses dies from some patterned papers from there, and I'm just sort of arranging how I think they'll look nice on the card, so layering up those roses and then sticking in the leaf dies. So now I'm taking the Sassy Script stamp set and I'm going to use the letters in the stamp set to spell the word mom. So I thought this would be a great Mother's Day card, but of course a nice birthday card as well. So I'm just taking the letters and I'm going to kind of just measure out where I think they need to go whenever I'm doing something with an alphabet stamp set. I just want to make sure I leave enough room for the entire thing to fit across the card. So I just wanted to make sure that I was going to have enough room for everything, and then decided to work backwards and stamp from right to left just to make sure that I don't kind of have the sentiment going off the card, because I've done that before and made those mistakes. So here I am just stamping down the letters one at a time, and I double stamped a couple of them just to make sure that the ink was extra saturated, and I'm using a color from Paper Tray ink. So now that my sentiment is stamped and my die cuts are all in place, I decided to take some other pattern papers from that same collection and die cut some flags using them and just put them up in the upper left corner as just a little tiny embellishment, just to kind of balance the card and make your eye go from left to right in a diagonal way. So I'm using the flag tags die set and just die cut 3 little flags using some of these pattern papers, and then I'm just going to arrange them how I think they will look nice, just in a tiny little cluster, and then I'm going to adhere them down. I decided to add just a little bit more stamping before I started adhering down my elements, and so I chose to use the same ink as I used on my sentiment, which is the aqua mist color, and then just took the little heart that's included in the Sassy script set and decided just to place some little hearts around the card, just kind of in random little spots. I just thought it added a tiny bit of texture and kind of drew in that teal color and made it a little more unified. So now I'm just taking all of my die cuts and using my Tombow Mono multi-glue and adhering them all down. So now that everything is glued down, I'm just going to take my scissors and trim off the excess from the top of the card and those flags. And that is going to finish off today's card. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out Paper Smooches for the stamps and dies that I used, and subscribe to my channel if you want to catch my latest crafty videos. Thanks so much.